When the quiet woman walked into the bank wearing old clothes and carrying a torn handbag, everyone assumed she was just another broke customer wasting their time.
Right? This
Even
is
the millionaire
huge.
standing behind her laughed under his breath.
Completely.
But life loves to humble the proud, and in a matter of seconds, one simple request would shake the entire bank. This is how one woman silenced a room full of doubters with a single bank balance. It was a normal Monday morning at Riverpoint National Bank. The line was long, customers were impatient, and the tellers were already stressed. At the front desk stood Mary Dawson, a quiet, middle-aged woman whose clothes looked worn, as if they had seen too many seasons. She carried herself gently, like someone who didn't want to be noticed. Behind her stood Carter Hastings, a loud, confident businessman known in the area, wealthy, flashy, and full of pride. He kept glancing at his gold watch. "Come on," he muttered. "Some of us actually have money to deposit." Mary pretended not to hear. When it was finally her turn, Mary stepped to the counter and smiled politely at the teller. "Good morning," she said softly. "I'd like to check my account balance, please." The teller barely looked up. "Is that all?" "Yes," Mary replied. "Just my balance." Carter chuckled loudly behind her. "You waited all that time just to check your balance? Lady, you could do that on your phone, if you even have one." A few people in line laughed. Mary remained silent. Carter shook his head dramatically. "This is exactly why banks stay slow," he said loudly. "People with tiny accounts holding up the line." The teller forced a smile. "Sir, please wait your turn." Carter grinned. "Oh, trust me, sweetheart, once I'm up there, I'll make it quick. I'm depositing more money than she's seen in her life." The line laughed again. Mary still didn't react. She simply slid her worn debit card and ID to the teller. The teller typed in Mary's information, then stopped. Her eyes widened. She blinked, leaned forward, checked again, then checked again. Carter rolled his eyes. "What now? She's probably overdrawn." But the teller's face was turning pale. I'm sorry, ma'am. Just to confirm. This is you?" Mary nodded gently. "Yes, dear, that's me." The teller swallowed hard. "Ma'am, your account balance is this correct?" Mary smiled softly. "It should be. I haven't touched most of it." The teller spun the screen around. Bank policy allowed customers to view their balance privately, but Mary didn't mind. Carter leaned slightly, still smirking. Until he saw it. $48,920,073. Everything stopped. The line went quiet. Carter's mouth fell open. The teller whispered, "Ma'am, you're a millionaire." Mary corrected her gently. "Technically, dear. I suppose I'm several times over." Carter stumbled forward. "Wait, how? You? With that bag? And those clothes?" Mary turned to him calmly. "I run 3 tech companies. I just prefer to dress comfortably. My money doesn't need to speak for me." Carter felt the heat rise to his face. But why come here in person? Why not check online? Rich people don't stand in lines." Mary smiled kindly in a way that humbled everyone around her. "Because I like to see the numbers with my own eyes. It reminds me where I started." She looked at the teller. "I grew up poor. I know what it feels like to be judged by appearance. So I stay grounded." The entire bank was silent. Carter cleared his throat, voice shaking. "Ma'am, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean." Mary raised a hand gently. "You meant every word," she said. "But that's all right. You judged what you saw. Most people do." Her tone wasn't angry, it was honest. "But next time," she added softly, "be careful. Not everyone who looks poor is." Carter lowered his head. "Yes, ma'am," he whispered. "I understand." Before leaving, Mary turned back to the teller. "Thank you, dear. Could you print my balance for me? I like keeping a physical copy." The teller nodded quickly, still shaken. Mary took the paper, smiled warmly at everyone, and walked out the door as quietly as she had entered. But the moment the door closed, Carter let out the breath he had been holding. "That was a millionaire?" The teller nodded. "One of the biggest accounts we've ever seen." Carter swallowed. And for the first time in a long time, he felt small, but in a way he needed. And that is how a woman they mocked for looking poor ended up being the wealthiest person in the room. A simple reminder. Never judge by appearance. You never know who you're talking to. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more inspiring videos. Thank you for watching.